I'm saying. I don't know that.
I meant more as like you and me and one other guy would go out and hunt, and instead of me just bringing back one wildebeest, we all together bring back 5, and the community eats that, and that was socialism. Now I watched a video on this where someone explained there's actually nothing wrong with socialism in a small community of, let's say, 20 to 30 people. It's when you try to apply that to millions in a city, it just doesn't make sense anymore.
Well, and again, harkening back to a couple episodes ago, I'd argue the same thing about libertarianism, where the best example is the 13 colonies of the United States of America with 50,000 people.
Good hearken.
But here's what I would say is that to flip that argument back around again, then conversely. So let's say there's 8 of you in the community, right? And let's say you are fortunate enough that it was 4 girls and 4 guys. If you had one guy with 2 of the girls or 3 of the girls, and then the other 3 guys are just standing there watching him bang away while they're collecting whatever, how long till they kill that guy? I don't think that world ever actually existed. I think it's kind of horseshit. I think that we all probably lived around each other. And yes, did we eat the same buffalo and work as a community? Sure. But I think at the end of the night, did you all go back to your own tents? This is why, but I think the Guys We Fucked podcast, not to single them out, but I will single them out. Podcasts that kind of spent the last 10 to 15 years sort of promoting that was like a lifestyle that people actually were a part of prior, and that they actually had like, oh no, this is just sort of society has set it up that we have one person. I think probably the Guys We Fucked podcast has done more harm to women than like the Husband Stitch did, or the Husband Stitch was back in the day when your wife gave birth. The doctor would sometimes put an extra stitch in her pussy to like keep it tight, and they call that the husband stitch, and it like killed ladies. They're definitely worse than that. I'm trying to think what thing has been worse,
more detrimental
to women worldwide than the Guys We Fucked podcast. Is there like
suffrage?
Suffrage, maybe? I don't know that suffrage. Yeah. Like, I mean, I thought you were saying like prior to suffrage.
Oh,
I think the world prior to suffrage was probably better for women than the world that Guys We Fucked was trying to create. Here's a prediction for 2026. Both people from the Guys We Fucked podcast will be miserable. They will both be sad whores. But I think more particularly, again, toxic shock syndrome, I think, hasn't been as detrimental to them. What's killed like a lot of women? I guess childbirth before antiseptic was probably worse for women than Guys We Fucked, but like pretty equal. I guess it depends what you consider worse, because that was sort of just at least there was a fulfillment in that, whereas you're sort of, the Guys We Fuck podcast almost kind of strips you of any fulfillment that you might have. So I actually think maybe women dying in childbirth was better than that podcast, possibly. There's an argument can be made, is what I'm saying, is that technically women dying in childbirth might not have been as bad for them because they would feel at least fulfilled in death, whereas the empty life anyways. So 2026, they're going to be miserable. What the fuck was the point of this originally?
We're predicting 2026.
Thank you. I didn't mean so much the overall episode, but more so just the tangent. But
yeah, it was a tangent on you predicting sad women.
Yeah. I don't know where we started on what was worse for them. Just think, is there anything else that was... All the serial killers, like Ted Bundy wasn't as bad, I would say. Like, if you had to put in who harmed...
Right.
Let me put it this way before we move on. If there was a Mount Rushmore of people who have harmed women, they, as a podcast, get 2 out of the 4 heads, which is pretty impressive. You know what I mean? Like, for a single entity, it would be like if on Mount Rushmore you had a president and vice president on out of 2 out of the 4 heads.
What is the podcast? just have on guys they fucked, or
They did that for a long time until
that's what I thought.
their pussies couldn't sustain it any longer.
Sure.
And then
Now it's
they just
talks
yeah.
about progressive sexual lives.
Yes,
in general.
exactly.
Okay.
They've you know.
I don't have a problem with that,
They
though.
pretend like Monica Lewinsky wasn't trying to get ahead.
Right.
Yeah, things like that on a very special episode. Anyways, so hopefully they 2026 prediction they move back to Luminary so that no one has to hear from them again. We're gonna move to Luminary. Actually, I'm announcing 2026. We're signing a deal with Luminary so that
Hey, by the way, signing deals. I did my own prediction on this podcast. I asked you, do you think anyone will sign their podcast to Netflix? And then literally a week later,
who's signing Netflix?
Two podcasts. Let me look it up. 2 podcasts signed to Netflix.
It can't be Call Her Daddy.
One is not a podcast, but it's sort of a podcast if you think about it. Breakfast Club. Breakfast Club is going to Netflix.
That's a podcast,
Yeah, exactly.
especially if it's on Netflix. I mean, it's not a. What do you say? It's a radio show on Netflix. Like that doesn't make any more sense. Wow. So they're just basically like we couldn't. Nothing that Charlemagne gave us worked. So
Right.
let's
There's a
just
bit of-
take the thing he already is doing and just put it on our thing.
I'm surprised you didn't hear about this one because I know you mentioned it. Barstool Sports podcast going to Netflix.
So Barstool Sports Podcast. Is that Portnoy?
All of them. So it's saying, for example,
so all of the-
Pardon My Take, everything under Barstool Sports.
Okay,
is going to
KFC?
Netflix. This is the AI overview.
Got it.
So it says
Okay.
The Breakfast Club, My Favorite Murder, and Barstool's Sports Podcasts, plural,
Okay.
are all going to Netflix.
Well, that's great. Lil Sass, KFC Radio, all the people not in directly related to supporting a genocide. Good for you guys. I think it's not smart. It's about 10 years too late. I'll say, hey, Ted Sarandis. Here's my prediction for 2026.
Uh-huh.
That check is not going to look good
For meaning
for Netflix.
Oh, it's not going to turn out.
That's
well
not
for
going to be money
it's
well
not
spent.
gonna-
That's not going to be. I love KFC. I love SAS. I love like a lot of the guys on a network. I think for a long time, Barstool. That guy is super impressive. A few years ago, I would have said Dave Portnoy had a real chance to be able to run for president one day.